As soon as the movie starts, we see a man named Curtis. He looks up at the black clouds gathering over his city. Just by looking at those clouds, it feels like a huge storm and heavy rain are about to come. Suddenly, it starts raining, but the rain is not water, it is oil. Seeing that, Curtis becomes very frightened. Immediately, he wakes up. Everything he saw was just a dream. Then, he takes a bath and goes for breakfast. There, we meet his wife Samantha and daughter Hannah. Curtis works as a construction worker. His wife helps him financially by doing stitching work. Hannah goes to school only 3 days a week because she cannot speak. To communicate with her, they are learning sign language. They are also providing her treatment, which requires a lot of money. Along with that, Samantha is planning a vacation and is working hard to save money for it. In the next scene, Curtis is seen gathering old, broken items in one place because he feels a massive disaster is coming to their city. He decides to build a shelter. While Curtis is arranging the broken items, suddenly black clouds cover the sky again. Then a storm follows. Thunder and lightning from the sky strike the ground. Because of the noise, Curtis' dog gets scared and starts barking furiously. Then, the dog breaks its leash and bites Curtis. At that moment, Curtis wakes up again. This too was a dream. But here's the surprising part. Where the dog bit him in the dream, Curtis actually feels pain even after waking up. Thinking about all this, he is distracted during a meeting. Because of his inattentiveness, his boss gets angry at him. Since the city is already experiencing a lot of rain, their construction work is delayed. So the boss demands that Curtis and the other workers work harder to complete the contract on time. After the meeting, everyone returns to their work. While working, Curtis notices that all the birds in the sky are flying in a strange pattern. He asks his friend if he also noticed the birds behaving oddly, but the friend says he didn't see anything unusual. Curtis then starts thinking that maybe he alone is seeing all this. After working hard for many hours and feeling exhausted, Curtis goes to Hannah's school. They are learning sign language together. But due to working long hours, Curtis isn't able to spend time with his family. That's why he's also finding it hard to make time to learn sign language. Later, they leave from school to head home. On the way, it suddenly starts raining. Surprisingly, it's not water. It's an oil rain. Because of this oily rain, the windshield of Curtis' car gets blurred. As a result, their car hits something. Their car meets with an accident. Blood starts dripping from Curtis' nose. His daughter is also very scared. Suddenly, a man breaks the car window and takes his daughter out through it. Curtis wants to save his daughter, but the man takes her away. Suddenly, Curtis opens his eyes. We realize it was his dream again. This time, though, Curtis becomes very worried because of his dreams. He looks very sick. Seeing this, Samantha gets very worried. But Curtis tells Samantha not to worry. Maybe it's just a normal fever. Later, Curtis gets back to work. First, he builds a fence in front of the doghouse because in his dream, the same dog attacks him. Then, while fixing some damaged items, he finds a basement door. After opening it and going inside, he gets the idea to build a storm shelter to protect from a future storm. But to build a shelter, he needs a lot of money. In the next scene, Samantha comes home in the evening. She shows Curtis the money she had saved for their vacation. He wants to ask for that money, but Samantha had earned it through hard work, so he's unable to ask her. The next day, a storm hits their city again. Hannah is enjoying watching the rain from the window. As Curtis walks toward her, he notices someone outside, staring at Hannah. That person's intentions don't seem right. So Curtis quickly takes his daughter away from there. Then the man starts banging hard on their door. An earthquake begins. All the items in their house start floating in the air. Suddenly, Curtis wakes up. This was another dream. But this time, Curtis is so scared that he urinates in bed. He becomes very nervous. Just then, Samantha enters the room. Today, both of them are supposed to go to church. But Curtis says, "Sorry, I can't come with you today. You go ahead. I'll stay home and take care of Hannah." Samantha agrees and leaves. After Samantha leaves, Curtis changes the bedsheet. He takes Hannah to a library where he searches about his sickness and dreams. But he doesn't find anything particularly helpful. After that, he takes Hannah to a grocery store where he buys a lot of packed food. The next day, Worried about his condition, Curtis goes to see a doctor. He tells the doctor, "I haven't been able to sleep for 4 days, and I've been getting strange dreams. What's worse, I continue to feel the pain from those dreams even after I wake up. Once, in my dream, my dog bit me, and I can still feel that pain on my body." The doctor suspects Curtis may be dealing with a mental health issue. He says, "I'll prescribe you some medicine for now. It will help you sleep. But you should also see a psychiatrist." Meanwhile, Samantha is at an insurance company. She's trying to get Hannah's operation covered under Curtis' job-based health insurance. Luckily, her request gets approved. On her way home, Curtis goes to pick up his medicine and learns that he's getting it for free. Hearing this, he feels very happy. After reaching home, Samantha is also in a joyful mood. She tells Curtis, "Now we don't need to save up a lot of money. Hannah's operation can be done easily, and we can even go on a family trip." This makes Curtis very happy too. Later, he quietly takes the medicine prescribed by the doctor and goes to bed. That night, he sleeps well and doesn't get any bad dreams. He wakes up feeling refreshed. Samantha notices the difference in him as well. Then Curtis goes to work. He talks to his friend about the shelter he wants to build at home. Suddenly, he hears thunder in the sky. He looks up, but surprisingly, the sky is completely clear. His friend doesn't hear any thunder at all. This makes Curtis so anxious that his health deteriorates and he starts vomiting. He takes leave from work and heads home. On the way, he suffers a panic attack and pulls the car over to the side. There, he sees someone selling a shipping container. Seeing it, he gets an idea. He decides to use that container to build a proper storm shelter. Curtis continues to experience panic attacks and illusions. He wants to find out why this is happening, so he decides to visit his mother's house. Years ago, his mother also suffered from a similar illness. She too had panic attacks and hallucinations. Because of her condition, she eventually had to leave her family. Curtis and his brother were raised by their father alone. One day, they found his mother near a garbage bin. After that, Curtis and his father admitted her into a private hospital. Curtis now wants to find out if what's happening to him is genetic and inherited from his mother. However, his mother doesn't remember anything. She doesn't even recognize Curtis as her son. So, Curtis gets no clear answers about his disease from her. His next option is to consult a psychiatrist. But his condition has worsened so much that he's unable to drive all the way to Columbus to see one. So he calls the doctor and asks if there's any alternative. The doctor suggests meeting with a consultant. The consultant listens carefully to Curtis' problems, but since she isn't a psychiatrist, she doesn't offer any diagnosis or treatment. Instead, she also advises Curtis to consult a psychiatrist. As days pass, Curtis grows increasingly afraid. His condition worsens day by day. He becomes desperate to finish building the shelter. For that, he needs a lot of money. So he mortgages his house to raise funds. Once he gets the money, he realizes he also needs equipment to build the shelter. First, he needs a digging machine, which is at his construction site, but it belongs to his boss. Taking it for personal use is against company rules. Still, Curtis and his friend secretly bring the machine to his house and start working. Samantha notices them working near the house. This leads to a heated argument between Curtis and Samantha. During the argument, Samantha finds out that Curtis had taken a $6,000 loan. Hearing this, she becomes even more worried because they are already struggling financially. Even managing their regular household expenses is difficult. They can't afford to repay another loan. Samantha's stress levels rise dangerously. Curtis, unable to handle the pressure himself, leaves her alone and walks out of the house. His own condition is also worsening rapidly. He goes to the washroom and takes more than the prescribed dose of the medicine. However, today, the medicine fails to work. Once again, Curtis has a terrifying dream. While experiencing it, he screams in his sleep. Samantha notices this and wakes up. As she tries to wake Curtis, she sees that he is bleeding from his nose and ears. She gets scared and immediately calls an ambulance. However, Curtis refuses to be checked by the medical team because he believes it's nothing serious and considers it normal. After they leave, Curtis feels guilty seeing how much Samantha is worried about him. So he decides not to hide anything from her anymore. He tells her everything about his mental condition, the dreams, and the panic attacks. Seeing his state, Samantha becomes very worried too. She reassures him, saying, "Don't worry. Everything will be fine. Let's go see a psychiatrist. You'll get better soon." The next day, Curtis goes to his boss and requests that his friend be shifted to a different team. In his dream the previous night, Curtis saw that his friend was going to cause him harm, so now he wants to distance himself from him. On his way back from work, Curtis buys 3 gas masks for his family. Once home, he fixes the container underground and finally completes building the shelter. While Curtis is working, his brother comes over. His brother tells him that what he's doing is wrong and that there's no need to go this far by building a shelter. But Curtis refuses to listen. That night, Curtis has another nightmare. In the dream, Samantha is standing in the kitchen, drenched and staring at a knife as if she's thinking about killing him with it. Curtis shakes his head, pleading no. Suddenly, he wakes up from the dream, terrified. The next morning, while having breakfast, Samantha touches him, but Curtis instinctively pulls away. Samantha then informs him that his boss is outside waiting to meet him. His boss brings bad news. Curtis is being fired for illegally using company equipment to build his shelter. Now, Curtis is left with only 2 more weeks of health insurance coverage, within which he must get his daughter's treatment done. Curtis tries to explain to his boss, saying he was desperate and helpless, but the boss doesn't listen and leaves. This bad news devastates Samantha as well. They were already struggling to manage their expenses. Curtis had also taken a loan, and now he had lost his job. Overwhelmed by frustration and anger, Samantha slaps Curtis, takes Hannah, and leaves the house. But Samantha's anger is only temporary because she knows Curtis's health is deteriorating. So, she decides to take all the money she has saved and goes to Curtis. She tells him, "With this money, you can clear your loan. I canceled our beach trip. We both should look for new jobs for Hannah's treatment. By saving money, we can also get your treatment. Let's do this together, Curtis. Listen to me, you need to see a psychiatrist." Curtis agrees to what she says. Afterward, they go to Hannah's school dinner. There, Curtis's friend, who had helped him with the shelter, arrives. Upon seeing Curtis, his friend gets very angry because Curtis's actions led to him losing his job. He insults Curtis in front of everyone, accusing him of making him do illegal work. He also says that Curtis has no idea about his mental health. The anger deepens when Curtis has his friend move to another team. Hearing all this, Curtis becomes enraged. He stands up and slams the table, shouting loudly at everyone, "Do you all think I'm crazy? It's not like that. Everything I'm doing is correct. A terrible storm is coming, and none of you are ready for it. Only I am preparing for it." Curtis loses control. With great difficulty, Samantha takes him home. The next day, everything Curtis had said seems to be coming true because the birds in the sky are flying in the same pattern as in his dream. After seeing this, Curtis looks at Hannah and notices that she is standing in the middle of the road. He rushes to pull her away, but suddenly, the birds fly around him. With great effort, he saves Hannah. Suddenly, a siren starts blaring. The moment Curtis hears the siren, he wakes up, realizing it was all a dream. However, the siren is real, and it continues blaring in the real world as well. When they go outside, they see a terrifying storm approaching. To escape the storm, Curtis takes his family to the shelter he had built. They wear gas masks and lie down. The next morning, as they wake up, they feel that the storm has passed. But Curtis is still afraid to open the door. He gives the keys to his wife, saying, "You open the door." However, Samantha insists, "You open the door and face your fear." Curtis, trembling with fear, opens the shelter door. The sky is completely clear. His neighbors are safe, and some of them are repairing the damage caused by the storm. A few days later, Samantha takes Curtis to see the psychiatrist. After evaluating his mental condition, the psychiatrist suggests that he be admitted for a few days, away from his family. Upon hearing this, Curtis becomes very afraid because he doesn't want to be separated from his family like his mother was. But his condition is worsening, and he knows something needs to be done. Samantha reassures him, "We can never be apart from you, but you need to be admitted for a few days to get better." However, Curtis isn't ready for this. So, he tells Samantha, Before I admit myself, I want to go on a beach trip with you. The trip had been something Samantha had planned for a long time. So, they go on the trip, and Curtis spends a good time with his family. During the trip, Hannah points out a storm coming from the sea and shows it to Curtis. When Curtis sees it, he becomes terrified because the storm looks exactly like the one from his dream. He then turns to look at his wife, and she nods her head, acknowledging that what he sees in his dreams is becoming a reality. The movie ends with a realization: Curtis is actually not sick. He has a genuine ability to see the future. He knew about the dangers that would come, and he had already prepared for them. The film concludes with the idea that Curtis, despite everything, was aware of what was to come and had taken steps to protect himself and his family. Thank you for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more great content. Your support means a lot to us. Have a wonderful day.